Okay, so very huge episode of My Hero Academia. The latest episode, the finale to Deku versus Overhaul, aka Chisaki. And boy, the art, the animation, the choreography, like, woo! Let's talk about it. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. Now, the last few episodes of My Hero Academia, I want to say ever since the end of the Fat Gum fight, which the Fat Gum fight was pretty cool too. I liked seeing, Red Riot, Fat Gum, all of that stuff was interesting. I like that My Hero Academia, opposed to a lot of other popular shonen, especially from the past, they don't shy away from giving moments to the side characters. The side characters actually get to do some really cool stuff and get to help out. Like, I like that, and I hope as we progress later on down the road in the series, it doesn't forget that really core element of what's been pushing the series up until this point, where it doesn't forget Class 1A. In fact, it doesn't even forget some of the official heroes that have been introduced that sometimes, the series will forget. I mean, and I'm not trying to pick on any series or whatever, but let's face it, Dragon Ball has become the Goku and Vegeta show. Naruto, after a certain point, became the Naruto and Sasuke show, and so on and so forth. It always becomes that way. So I'm really appreciative that My Hero Academia, we get those Red Riot moments, the character development for him, seeing a bit of his past and how he transformed into the guy that he is today. Seeing Fat Gum going all out for one of his students. That was pretty cool stuff. And again, it was nice to wrap that little piece up and then jump straight into the big shebanga, because oh man, where do I begin? Between Mirio versus, damn, it wasn't even just Mirio versus Overhaul, it was Mirio versus Overhaul and like what, 2 or 3 of his lackeys and shit like that. And that was already, like, honestly, if that was the climax of this arc and it ended with Mirio defeating him, that would have sufficed already, like, because it was just so freaking emotional, and it just really showed a lot about the dangers of this arc. Because one of the things you always want to showcase and impose is that there's a true threat and a true danger. Now, some series, they like to keep on anting up, like, okay, this one is more stronger than the last foe and things like that. And while Overhaul, he's strong, it's not like he's like a huge jump over, like, all for one or anything like that. Just like, even go back to the hero killer Stain, he wasn't like massively strong. It's the way that they maneuver and the things that they used. And one of the things that he used very effectively is basically Eddie's quirk in those bullets, and that was one of the big pieces that really makes Overhaul, and his crew for that matter, dangerous. But it also didn't just do the typical with Overhaul, and that's something I appreciate as well. And what I mean by the typical is, normally villains, and don't get me wrong, I love those type of villains too, but they don't really care too much about their crew. They're not really like, whatever. And when we kept getting those flashbacks back and forth between the original boss, or the actual boss of the Hasakai group, and Overhaul, and it just kind of showed that he wanted to do things in his way and disregard certain elements of what he was trying to, the teacher was trying to instill in him. And what it turned out was, even though he went his own way and he walked his own path and did some really messed up shit, like, basically hospitalizing the old man, he still gained that love and admiration from his people, and he still cared about them for that matter. So even when, shit is going left and everything, you see the dude that grabs the gun and shoots the bullet that ultimately destroyed Mirio's life. And that moment was absolutely insane, crazy, and I can't stress enough that My Hero Academia with this season yet again is outdoing the manga, doing it justice, not even just on the art and animation, the scores, the music, when it hits certain parts. And like when Mirio, like, I ain't gonna lie, I liked Mirio in the manga. I thought he was really awesome. Anime made me like him more. Anime actually made me look at him like, wow, he really embodies what All Might. And honestly, you could throw the argument in there that Mirio would have been just fine to be the successor to All Might. He embodies everything. Like, I look at Mirio and I see especially everything that he did. He's a young All Might, constantly with the smile, constantly trying with every which way. And don't get me wrong, Deku has a lot of those elements. I think Mirio is just a little more advanced. If you think about it, he's what, a third year? Deku's a freshman essentially. So there's the difference in the experience and age category. But man, him saving Eddie to the very bitter end, taking that bullet, jumping in front of the bullet, like, he could have let it happen. He could have said, screw it, but just showcase the whole premise of everything of, these kids truly trying to be the best heroes that they can be, and him jumping in front of the way to essentially lose his powers. And that is like, you got to think, because there's the argument as well, like shonen don't do deaths a lot, even though Night Eye ain't looking too well right now. I mean, he got pierced through the stomach, I don't know, but something that is very, very tragic if you think about it, for somebody that their dreams is one of the big core elements to them. Like we see Mirio with the flashbacks that we get from him from when he was little, everything that he ever thought about, everything that he embodied was being a hero from the time he was a little child. So for him to see his dreams come crashing down, it's very, very up there in terms of what you can do plot wise with a character if you ain't gonna kill them off. If you're not gonna do that, stripping their dreams, hopes, everything they live for right before their eyes is very, very messed up as well. And I think the way they handled that, wow, very, very powerful. Everything with Eddie, seeing, even it comes from the source material, of course, but man, does it just really hit with the anime, seeing even Eddie's development throughout all of this, because it starts off, even when Mirio gets shot and everything, she's still thinking about, maybe I should go back to Overhaul, he'll stop this if I just go, and you know, those words that he brainwashed her into believing of, every move you make is going to cause more pain, more suffering and shit like that. So towards the later half, or towards the latest episode, shall I say, seeing her finally say, you know what, I can't do this no more. I'm just going to go to them. They're not going to stop trying to save me. It was a leap of faith, and it was growth and development. So even getting the little scared girl getting character development, that's freaking amazing. Like, honestly, there's not many, if any, negative things I could really say about the last few episodes of My Hero Academia, leading up to, what is it, 100%, Infinite 100%, I think was the title of the latest episode, because it was just like, man, you got the Mirio situation, and then on top of that, you throw everything, you know, because of battles and everything, then you got Night Eye, which, don't get me wrong, Night Eye, I knew he wasn't going to put up much of a fight, and don't get me wrong, like, I read the manga, but it's been a bit, and my memory of it is hazy at this point, but I knew he couldn't put up a fight. Like, he don't got that much powers, you know what I'm saying? Like, his main power is just foresight, but, which is a great power in and of itself, obviously, but in terms of fighting this monster, because at that point, Overhaul, he had fused one of his lackeys with him, so he's 10 times stronger, he's looking like, I don't know, just a monster. Seeing Night Eye trying his best, and then ultimately kind of succumbing to, wow, not only does he get pierced, but seeing the future, which kind of leads all back into the big thing of All Might, was also very impactful to see that he had, for that moment and for a while, given up hope on being able to change the future, because at that point he sees the future that Overhaul kills Deku, gets away, end of the road. And I'm not sure exactly what played the part to change everything. I'm guessing, aside from, you know, you could just say the morale and these kids aren't going to give up or whatever, I think Eddie's ability is one of the major factors that helped to change the future. So whenever All Might is supposed to bite the big one, supposedly, I think if Eddie is involved somehow, that can help change it. I mean, you could throw out the argument, it was Deku, whatever, but I think a lot of it had to do with the combination of, again, Deku being the successor to One for All, but also having Eddie's powers kind of helping, because they're monstrous. Like, she can make you disappear in a second, she can rewind anything. It's like, basically, as it's described, essentially, to a certain degree, Overhaul's power times 1,000, because Overhaul is able to rewind back to a certain point, like, you know, he can regrow his arm and do things like that, but hers is just on a whole other level. She can make you lose your quirks, obviously. So all of that, incredible moment after incredible moment. I felt as though every episode was just like, this could be the climax of the arc. This could be, like, you know, you get Mirio losing his powers for good, we get Night Eye getting pierced, seemingly about to die, then we got Deku versus Overhaul. Oh my gosh, Super Saiyan Blue Deku. And I say that jokingly because at this point you gotta think, and a lot of people have been comparing it, like, oh, he had like Super Saiyan Blue hair or whatever, and maybe it was an influence, but for crying out loud, Dragon Ball Z has used every freaking color for transformations at this point. We had the rose color, we had gold, we had blue, we had red, like, yeah, if characters use colors, which anime and animation in general, in particular anime, though battle, shonen battle, they use colors to kind of signify a change or just a character in general. So if Dragon Ball's used all these colors, even silver with Ultra Instinct, there's not much they can really do. They gotta pick and choose one. And I thought it looked absolutely phenomenal. I could see at the end of the year, once again, My Hero Academia reaping a lot of awards because of this, because the Overhaul versus Deku fight was absolutely monstrous. And again, it didn't count on making Overhaul a villain that just is 10 times stronger than the last one or anything like that. It was taking the hero. Again, he was powered up with, Eddie using her ability constantly to re-heal his, his leg that broke and all sorts of stuff, and going 100%. Like, just imagine. And Deku isn't done training. He still has a long road ahead, but he's going to be way stronger than what even All Might was. Because if he's able to do this, like when he freaking uppercut kicked Overhaul and was just busting his ass, and this is still a young kid, inexperienced, just having this battery on his back, literally and pretty much, or figuratively and pretty much literally, then imagine what he's going to be able to do as the series progresses. And then especially if we get a time skip or just end the series, he's going to be way stronger than All Might. The battle, phenomenal. Again, Eddie's character development, running towards Deku busting out of there, even having Uraraka and Frog Girl and all these people being involved in it. Phenomenal. Honestly, My Hero Academia, absolutely on fire. That battle, one of the best of the series. I definitely would say I'd take Deku versus Overhaul over the All Might versus All For One battle. And that was a cool battle, very, very hype and stuff like that. But this battle tops it. Art, animation, the intensity, everything about it. And in the end, it seemed very planned, don't get me wrong. And what I mean by planned is Eddie used her ability to morph Chisaki back into his normal state. So there was a lot of planning, which is great. I'm not knocking it for planning. That's awesome. I mean, I guess it kind of reverted certain aspects back to what they were before the battle began, but nonetheless, phenomenal fight. My Hero Academia, absolute greatness right now. Freaking loved it. 100% infinite, baby. Let's go. But I'm kind of curious what you guys thought about these last few episodes. How did you feel so far? I mean, it's pretty much almost over. The next episode seems like a wrap up for this arc. How you been feeling about this arc, the Overhaul arc? How did you feel about the final battle, Overhaul versus Deku? What do you think about Mirio's moment? Did you like Mirio's battle with Overhaul more than Deku's? How do you feel about Night Eye? You think he's going to die, bite the big one? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the future of the My Hero Academia anime? Honestly, this is one of the most emotional seasons of the series, and again, All Might versus All For One was emotional, and even the hero killer stayed, but this, it was tough. But that's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links, of course, in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld. And as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace. Last time, I'ma say last time. Moving on to the future, leave the memories as a pastime. Memories always feel like the worst. Deading all the past, leave it in a hearse. Sometimes I wanna lie, but I don't. Why lie when truthfully you get caught in it? Then usually it's all off and shit. Uncalled for shit. Now I'm off the shit.